You can learn a whole lot about a person from the 10 things they just can't live without. So today, we're going to deconstruct the essentials of entrepreneur Iman Gadzhi. We're not just going to look at the stuff he owns, but we're going to try and uncover the mindset that's really driving his success.
And trust me, he's not wrong about that. This is not your typical list of fancy luxury goods. Like Gadzhi himself says, there are some genuine surprises in here that honestly they paint a much more complex picture of how he operates, how he thinks, and how he stays grounded.
All right, so first up, let's look at what we're calling the engine. These are the tools he uses every single day to stay at peak performance, to keep his focus, and to be productive. And it all kicks off the second he wakes up.
So his morning doesn't just start with a random jolt of coffee. No, it's a calculated system. First thing, a liter of water with his own brand's electrolytes to get hydrated. Then he follows that up with a caffeinated version, but with a pretty modest 80 milligrams of caffeine to fuel his workouts. The key takeaway here is control. There's no sugar, there's no crash, it's just sustained, engineered energy to get the day started right. Okay, next up is how he manages his actual environment. And he does it using two different types of glasses from his company. He's got the blue light blockers for when he's on the computer, to reduce eye strain. But his sunglasses, they have a really specific purpose. The lenses are actually light enough so people can still see his eyes during meetings, which helps maintain that personal connection. It's a pretty smart, strategic choice for both his health and his relationships. And to keep his focus absolutely razor sharp, he completely dishes the iPad for something called the Remarkable Tablet. Now, the reason is so simple that it's so powerful. The beauty of this thing, it only does one thing. It's for taking notes. That's it. No notifications, no apps, zero distractions. It's a deliberate choice to engineer a space for pure, uninterrupted thought. Okay, let's switch gears and see how this all builds into his approach to the finer things in life. We're now looking at the apex items, and this is where his philosophy on luxury gets crystal clear. And believe me, it is probably not what you expect. For Gadzhi, the Rolls-Royce Phantom is, and I'm quoting him here, the best chauffeur car that's ever been made in history. It's not about the flash, it's not about the tech. It's all about the unparalleled experience of being driven in it. For that specific purpose, this car is the undisputed king in his collection. But here it is, our first major surprise. Even though he owns a top-of-the-line Maybach, a car that is literally synonymous with chauffeured luxury, he says, out loud, that he prefers his Range Rover SV. This is such a classic example of his whole philosophy. Personal experience always wins over brand expectation. So you're probably asking, why? Why pick the Range Rover over the Maybach? Well, for him, the Maybach just has too much going on. The Range Rover, on the other hand, it offers this versatile comfort that just fits any situation, from a ride after a workout to a serious business meeting. It's practical luxury, not just over-the-top opulent luxury. Now, when he's the one behind the wheel, his choices are just as deliberate. The Porsche GT3 is for pure driving pleasure. He cares more about how it feels, its responsiveness, than raw speed. The G63 is his iconic beater, a total workhorse for just getting around. And his newest toy? Well, it's a complete paradox, the Lamborghini Sterrato. It's a V10 supercar that's literally built for off-roading. Wild. And hey, just to prove this isn't about collecting logos or brands, listen to his take on modern Ferraris. He says he's really tried to like them, but he just finds them frustrating, from the terrible user interface to all the reliability issues. His collection is curated based on what he actually enjoys, not just what's expected to be in a supercar garage. All right, another one of his essentials is the cigar. But hold on, for him, this is so much more than just a habit. It's a full-on ritual, a practical tool that serves two very distinct and very important purposes in his life. You see, the ritual itself is a commitment. Socially, if he lights a cigar, it means he's dedicating a solid hour to a deep conversation or a meeting. But it's also his secret weapon for solitude, a time for him to just sit alone, reflect, and strategize. It's a device for slowing down and just thinking, whether he's with other people or totally by himself. Okay, now we are going to pivot hard. We're going from supercars and Cuban cigars to the items that actually serve as an anchor for him. These are the humble, nostalgic essentials that keep him connected to his past, and they provide a really fascinating contrast. This might be the most unexpected item on the entire list. Cheap PT instant noodles. He still eats them every single week. And why? Because they remind him of growing up with a single mom, of a time before all the success.
It's a simple but incredibly powerful tool for staying grounded and appreciating just how far he's come.
So what's this number all about? An absolutely astonishing 700,000 kilometers? Well, that is the mileage on his vintage Mini Cooper. In a garage that is packed with modern marvels, this is the car he calls his favorite. It gives him this simple, raw, mechanical joy that modern supercars just can't seem to replicate.
And that love for the analog, for that real-deal mechanical feel, it even extends to how he captures his life. About 70% of his content is shot on actual film cameras, like his Contax T3 or a Leica M6. He does it to get this magical look that he feels you just can't fake with digital filters. It's a very intentional choice for a less-than-perfect, more authentic vibe.
And of course, you knew it was coming, we've got to talk about the watches, but his journey as a collector didn't start at some six-figure Patek Philippe. No, it started when he was 8 years old with a Timex Expedition, a watch he still has, by the way. His collection has obviously evolved, but that starting point is a huge part of his story. It shows this is a lifelong passion, not just a recent shopping spree. So, when you put all of these pieces together, the performance tools, the crazy luxury items, and these nostalgic anchors, this really fascinating picture starts to emerge. Let's call it the Gadzhi paradox.
So on one side of the scale, you have this, the absolute peak of modern, frankly outrageous engineering, a V10 supercar designed for off-roading, one of only 1,500 in the entire world. This thing represents the cutting edge, the extravagant, the "I've made it" statement.
And on the complete other end of the spectrum, a pair of cheap, wired Apple EarPods. Seriously, he's actually ditched his AirPods for these, calling them iconic. He loves how simple they are, how reliable they are, and says the mic quality for calls is just way better. It's the ultimate expression of function over flash. So that's the real question, right? How can someone live with both a Lamborghini Serato and $10 headphones as essentials? What's the common thread here? What connects these two seemingly opposite worlds?
Well, the connection is a deliberate balance. It's this constant interplay between hyper-luxury on one side and humble nostalgia on the other. It's building cutting-edge brands while relying on simple analog tools. It's about having these massive global ambitions while staying firmly tethered to your roots. These dualities, they're not a contradiction. They are the system.
Ultimately, what this really shows us is that our essentials are never just things. They're a reflection of our values, our history, our priorities. So it leaves us with one final thought to chew on. Your essentials tell a story. What is yours?